It's been a while since I've given an update to my partners, so sorry about that. Last year was crazy, and by the end of the year, it was all I could do just to hold on. So thankfully, we're revamping that for this coming year, and we're going to get way more regular in sending you updates and all that kind of fun stuff. But I wanted to give a huge thank you to everybody who's been praying for me, everybody who's been supporting me financially, everybody who's been following this and watching this. What happened last year was absolutely astounding. I think I told it in some of the updates before, but when 2017 turned over, literally on January 1st, I heard the Lord say to go as hard as I could for 2017, and you gotta admit, I kind of did that. I measured out last year, I took out, just saw what I did, and I traveled to over 28 different cities, some of them repeatedly, like some cities I went to 4 or 5 times in a row, but 28 different cities. I went to 11 different countries, 11 different ministry trips, international ministry trips. And we're putting a conservative estimate that we were able to, I was able to minister to over 20,000 people just in the conferences alone. So this is amazing because I love to be able to see this stuff and say, this is what you and I did together. Without your support, without you praying for me, without your financial support on a consistent basis, all of the prophetic stuff that I carry, all of the social justice stuff that I carry, all of that would not have gotten to these places. So 20,000 people were touched with the Burning Ones message, for example. All these different cities, all these different leaders, all these different churches in nation after nation after nation were impacted with the prophetic message. And I'm just as blown away as the next person. Every single time this happens, I'm just as blown away as the next person that this stuff is landing and it's just exploding all over the earth. So thank you. On top of that, we were able to complete 4 different trips to Ottawa to work with our federal government and with some of the different federal government agencies that I do there. And again, it's one of those funny things where it's like, amazing things are happening, I can't tell you about it. But suffice it to say, amazing stuff is happening. That is growing in its scope, it's growing in its influence, and it's growing in a very significant way. There will be a day we'll be able to share about it, but today's not that. So maybe when I'm like 85, 90 years old and I'm writing my tell-all book, we'll put that in there. But I would just ask you to continue to pray for this stuff. And thank you again. I have to say this over and over, without your financial support, the prophetic word of the Lord would not get into our federal government in the way that I'm able to bring it. The prophetic word of the Lord would not be able to get into the federal government agencies. So I want to say a massive thank you. We are doing this together, and since we've been doing this together for so long, now that there's a consistency happening, now there's expectation, and now that both sides have a lot of faith because we're able to see the way that the Lord's moving. So let's just keep pushing forward on that stuff. For 2018, just to bounce ahead already, I've been approached by a couple of different governments to bring the prophetic word into there. One's, I can say generally, one's in Africa, so that nails it down to a continent. But one is in Africa. The doors have just flown wide open. They want prophetic insight, they want prophetic counsel. So we'll be doing that in the fall. And then some doors in the United States have opened up as well. And so we're trying to figure out, how do we manage that properly? How do we grow that properly so that it's not just a flash in the pan thing? So keep praying for that. Your financial giving is changing federal governments. Your financial giving is changing the influencers. And on top of that now, it's really exciting, and we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about this in the future, but what's happening with even just the high-end business people is stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I'm able to partner in, and really, it's nothing I can take credit for. It's just I happened to go to a couple of places where they gather a lot of these high-end people. I just came in on the coattails and watched what was going on, but I was inspired by what's happening and inspired to be able to meet with these multi-millionaires and billionaires. And I was saying, okay, well, this is fun that we're doing it in different nations around the world, but I want to do it in Canada. And without being able to say too much, it's happening, my friends. Some stuff happened just a little while ago, while we were operating in 2017, that has started the ball rolling for 2018, where we'll be able to minister to some of the highest net worth individuals in Canada. And most of these people don't know Jesus yet, that's what's going to be fun. And as you know, my drive is how can we use the prophetic not just to bless the church, but how can we use this as a tool to change the world? And the doors are opening, so keep praying for this stuff. Without us walking together, none of this would happen. And then finally, in the for the report on last year, as well as next year, as I'm vision casting already. We were able to complete 5 trips actually, down into Mexico City. And they were just amazing. There's so much momentum happening with that. And without you partnering with this, again, we can't go. Without you doing that, I cannot be sent. And so I'm so cognizant of the fact that together we can do this. I'm so cognizant of the fact that with enough people giving even just a small amount, we can put that all together, and together we can actually change the world. I get to go into places where most people cannot, but I'm not representing myself. I'm representing you, I'm representing our corporate faith, I'm representing the hope and the desire of the kingdom. And together, I know this, you giving and you praying sends me, and together, at the end of the day, we are all going to reap this harvest. It's not just me, it's not just cool stories, we're changing the world together. So thank you so much for your support. And I look forward to giving you some stories this next year that, for me, they're already blowing my mind. But we have to complete them first before I'm able to talk about them. So it's just crazy what's happening. So keep praying, guys. Thank you.